Hello everybody, this is Muhammad Abdelmanan. Today we're going to continue our talk about grammar, and we are still talking about the different tenses in English. Previously we talked about the simple tenses and the progressive tenses. Today we're going to start with the perfect tenses. So, the perfect tenses, they all give the idea that one thing happens before another time or event. So we have like two events. The first one, we use the perfect tenses to convey or to talk about the first one, which has already completed, or it has already finished before a certain time or event. So let's take a look at the present perfect. Here I'm talking, let me get the pencil. Here's the pencil. Here, this is the present time. When I say Tom has already eaten, it means Tom has begun the eating verb, the process of eating, in the past, maybe a few minutes ago, or maybe a few hours ago, and has already completed the eating process. It means that he's no longer eating now. He has already finished his plate or his meal. Alright? Alright. Remember that the present perfect is also used when the exact time of the event is not important. So the exact time of the event of the eating process is not important. What's important is that the eating process has already finished before now. So it's called perfect. It's finished. It's completed. Alright. So the form is, let me write the form. Subject plus has or have plus verb plus ed. When I say verb plus ed, it means the verb in the third form or the past participle. And we already know that some verbs have irregular conjugation or irregular forms, that in the third form or the past participle we may add an en. So, for example, give, the verb give, we don't say gived, we don't say gived, we say give, gave, given. That's just because it's an irregular verb. Okay, next. Okay, so that was present perfect. Now let's move to the past perfect. It's the same as the present perfect, but however it talks about certain events that happened in the past. So in the past perfect we have two processes or two verbs. One of them happened and completed. One of them took place and completed before the second one. So, for example, Tom had already eaten when his friends arrived. So, let me get the pencil. Alright. So, this is now. I'm talking about something that happened yesterday or the week or last week. And I'm saying Tom had already eaten when his friends arrived. So, Tom began eating yesterday at 8 p.m. and he finished eating after 10 minutes. His friends arrived at 9 p.m. So he had already eaten. The process of eating was complete. It was finished before a certain event or a certain action took place, which is the arriving of his friends. The form is subject plus had plus verb plus ed. Alright. Next, let's talk about the future perfect. Let me get the pencil. As I was saying, it's the same as the rest of the perfect tenses. However, we use the future perfect to talk about events that's gonna happen in the future. So, we use the future perfect to talk about certain events that will be complete or will be finished before a different or another certain event or action. So, for example, when I say Tom will already have eaten when his friends arrives, it means that the verb or action of the eating will be already complete before his friend arrives. So this is now, and this is when Tom will start eating, maybe tomorrow at 7 a.m. That is breakfast. And his friends will arrive to pick him up at 8. So by 8, when his friends arrive, Tom will have already eaten his breakfast. The form, let me get the typewriter. Subject plus will plus have plus verb plus ed. Alright, next we're going to talk about the perfect progressive tenses. The perfect progressive tenses are used in a similar way to the perfect tenses. However, they're used to express or emphasize the fact that the action or the verb took place. It was progressive, or to express or emphasize the duration of the first event. So, the perfect progressive tenses give the idea that one event is in progress immediately before or up to or until another time or event. They are used to express the duration of the first event. Let me scroll. Okay, so we have also 3 other verbs or tenses. Let me get the pencil. So now we use the present perfect progressive to talk about something that started in the past. It was in continuous till a few moments ago. It completed after a few moments ago. For example, when I say Tom has been studying for 2 hours, it means that Tom has started studying 2 hours ago, and that action or that activity, it took a while, it was progressive. So I use the present perfect progressive to express or emphasize the duration of the verb of the studying. Okay, so now let's take a look at the form. Subject plus has or have plus been plus verb plus ing. Next we have the past perfect progressive. It's the same as the present perfect progressive, but it's used to talk about events that took place in the past. So, for example, if I say Tom had been studying for 2 hours before his friend came, it means that Tom maybe started studying yesterday at 8 p.m. and his friend arrived at 10 p.m. So, at 10 p.m., Tom had been studying for 2 hours, had been busy studying for 2 hours. So the verb study, or the action or the process of the studying, it took place, and we use that tense, the past perfect progressive, to emphasize the duration of that process. Let's take a look at the form. It's subject plus had plus been plus verb plus ing. The last one is the future perfect progressive. It's used to talk about events that's going to happen in the future. However, we use it to emphasize the duration of that event or of that action. And also it's used to talk about event that's going to be in progress, and it will be completed before another event or action that's going to happen also in the future. For example, Tom will have been studying for 2 hours by the time his friend arrives. Let's assume that Tom's friend will arrive at 10 p.m. tomorrow, and Tom will start studying at 8. So by 10 or at 10, Tom will have been studying for 2 hours. Tom will study at 8, and his friend will arrive at 10. So the form, let me get the typewriter. is subject plus will plus have plus been plus verb plus ing. So now we completed the 12 types or 12 tenses of the English verbs. We have three times, we have three tenses: past, present, and future, and we have four aspects. We call them aspects. We have simple, we have progressive, we have perfect, we have perfect progressive. Thank you, class. Have a nice day.